Hello, and welcome to the Big Top Podcast. I'm so excited to bring you another edition. If you're wondering what a Big Top Podcast is all about, it's about those small wins that bring the big victories. I've had several guests on the podcast in season 2, and I'm so excited about the value they have delivered. And as I'm beginning to wrap up season 2, I'm excited I can bring you something straight from my heart. Today's podcast has been inspired by my conversation with a young lady a few weeks ago. And I've been thinking about it because as I've been sharing different steps and different things that people can actually do to grow themselves, those who are feeling stuck and wondering, what do I do in my life? Where can I start from? Those that are feeling overwhelmed, thinking, I've been doing so much, I'm not seeing the progress. What can I do? Or they're feeling stuck, I need to move. And they're looking at all the things around them thinking, how do I get from A to B? What is in between and what do I need to do? They are overwhelmed by the big things that they're seeing people doing out there. And they're wondering, how can I achieve that? And this is about those small steps. This is about opening those tiny doors that will lead to the massive gate into the mansion of your final goal, whatever success means to you. Today, I want you to sit back. I want you to enjoy this because I'm on my own today, but I've got so much value to give you. This conversation with a young lady started when I asked her, what do you want? Because she said, I am feeling stuck. I want to move from this place. I'm tired of being here. Those were her words. And also, I asked the question, what do you want? And she said to me, I don't know what I want. It could be anything. I just want to get out of here. That's all I want. And sometimes you might be feeling the same way too. You might be thinking, I need to get out of here. That's all I want. But the question is, what do you want? If you say you want anything, you get nothing because anything is actually nothing. But I want to encourage you today. The first step is making up your mind. What do you want? What does success mean to you? What does that goal mean to you? Why do you want to achieve that goal? Why do you want to be where you are? Where do you see yourself? How does it feel to be in that place that you want to be? And that is the first question. It's not just about sitting there feeling frustrated. I want to get out of here. The question is, if you want to get out of here, where do you want to go into? Every move you make, you're stepping out of somewhere to go into somewhere else. If I walk out of this room, I walk into another room. If I walk out the door of my house, I'm walking to the outside world. Wherever you move to, as the saying goes, every yes to something is a no to something else. There's only 2 ways you can go. But the question is, you don't want to be in here. Where do you want to be? That is the first question. Secondly, who do you need to become? Good example. You've decided where you want to be, where you want to go to. Who do you need to become to get yourself to that destination? I love the example that I actually give. If I want to travel from here in London to Nigeria, the first thing I have to decide is, how am I going to get there? Which I will come to later, talking about a house. But now the question becomes, how do I want to get there? When you decide how you want to get there, then you have to decide who you need to become. If I decide I want to go by air, that means I have to become an air passenger. And what does that mean? It means me taking action, going and buying a ticket to become that air passenger. If I decide I want to drive there, then what do I need to do? I need to become a driver. And what does that include? That includes me trying to learn how to drive first if I don't know how to drive. And if I know how to drive, I have to think of how am I going to get there? How long does it take me to get there if I choose to drive to that destination? So we need to understand there's power in becoming. Who do you need to become? I'll tell you a personal story. When I started speaking, the first thing I decided was, who do I need to become that person that can confidently stand in front of the camera and speak to people? Who do I need to become that person who can share transformational messages to people across the world in different countries? Who do I need to become? I had to work on myself spiritually. I had to work on myself mentally. I had to work on myself physically because I was a lot bigger than I am now. But I thought to myself, how do I stand on a stage dressed in a suit with my belly protruding out, saying to people to transform their lives when I can't even control my weight. And that is a personal thing to me. Everybody is different, and I'm not trying to speak about those who are overweight. But I'm just trying to say that was something that was very personal to me. Those are the questions I asked myself. And so I had to go and start exercising. I had to wake up early in the morning and spend time with God because I'm a proud Christian. I had to pray every single day to transform my life spiritually because I believe that God gave me the perfect direction on which way to go. I had to work on my health. I had to work on my mindset. I had to read books. I had to attend events because I knew who I needed to become. I had to build the right relationships. I had to put myself in the right environment because I knew how important it was for me to become who I needed to become so that I could achieve the goals that I was trying to achieve. Just before I begin to share with you about the hows, that's sharing from my own point of view, about the hows on how you need to step out, how you need to get yourself out there. First, I want to talk about is the obstacles. Every place you decide to go to, there will be obstacles. When you decide to fly a plane, you know you have to fly against the wind sometimes. So you have to learn how to push through the wind. There will always be obstacles along the way. And the first obstacle I want to look at is our belief system. When I spoke to this young lady, the first thing I said to her was, now that you're thinking, I have an idea of where you're trying to get to. The next question I asked was, who you need to become? And she said, you know what? I know where I want to get to, but I don't believe I can get there. And I thought to myself, well, you have disqualified yourself even before you started. And guess what? I had that same feeling too when I was going to be a speaker. I thought there's so many transformational speakers out there. There's loads of people sharing different messages out there. What makes my own any different? What makes me think that anyone's going to listen to me? What makes me think that anyone's going to invite me to even speak on their stages? What makes me think anyone's going to watch a podcast or listen to my podcast? And that was a thought that came to my mind. And I had to fight that self-belief desperately. I had to push myself and fight it back because the feeling kept on coming to my mind. Who really cares? What difference is it going to make? Just stay where you are. Don't worry about it. Because I did not believe I could become the person I needed to become. But I had to work on myself. I had to fight through that belief system that I have a message for this world. I have a transformational message for this world. I'm going to keep pushing and I'm going to deliver it in whichever medium or way I can. It's not about the number of people that watch or listen to this podcast. It is about the one life that will be touched because somebody out there needs to hear this message. So I want to encourage you too. Whatever you're thinking about doing and you're feeling, why does it matter? Who cares? There is somebody out there that needs the solution that you have. Secondly, it's about comparison. And I said earlier, I looked at other people that were doing it. I thought, what is the point of me doing it? When I spoke to this lady, she mentioned a different name of somebody else. She said, I know somebody who already joined the company not long ago. Look at how far they've gone. I know this person. I know that person. She begins to give me a list of people who she feels have achieved things in a short period of time. But let me tell you something. There is absolutely nothing like overnight success. It does not exist. That is first thing you got to think about. Secondly, you got to realize this world is round. The world is not fair. That is the truth. The absolute truth is the world is not fair. There are things in which we have done and they have worked to our favor. And then because they worked to our favor, it definitely worked against somebody else. Remember, as I said to you, for every yes that you say, you are saying no to somebody else. For every time someone says yes to you, they are actually saying no to somebody else. If you go for a job interview and they say, yes, you've got the job, that means they have said no to somebody else who has not got it. And that person could decide to play the victim and say, it's not fair. But you need to understand the word fair has different definitions and you can see it in different ways depending on the way you look at life. It all depends on your perspective. And I had to make her understand it depends on her perspective of what the word fair is. But there's a standard rule. The world is round. The world is not fair. Things will work in your favor sometimes. Sometimes things work against you. It's up to you to choose how you look at it. Not play the victim and not hold yourself back and keep saying to yourself, the world is not fair. So we got to be careful about how we compare ourselves to others. I'll give you a good example. If someone joins a company and accelerates very quickly through the ranks, you might think, oh, this person must know somebody and this is unfair. But you know what? In the world we live in, there is always the law of seed and harvest. And when you sow a seed somewhere, you will not always harvest in the same place. If I plant a mango tree right at this spot, after a while, the mango tree grows. Someone takes the seed from after the mango tree grows and plants it somewhere else. Then it grows again there. Maybe that might be the point in which I'm going to get my harvest. But you just never know. And that's why there is a standard rule in this world, the rule of seed and harvest. That person might have been sowing their seeds while they were in a different company. They built the right attitude towards work. And so when they join this new company, clearly the company could see that they're the kind of people they like, who can excel in what they're doing. And that's why they move through ranks very quickly. You just don't know. So sometimes it's not good to compare ourselves thinking, oh, they've only been here for 2 months and they made this progress. No, there's nothing like overnight success. Work has been put into it over the years, because when you listen to their true story, you will understand the reason why they have been able to accelerate so quickly. And third is time. I said to her, I said, look, it is going to take time. It is going to take time. And she said, you know what? I don't have time to wait. I don't have the patience. But guess what? Patience, patience, patience. Whatever you're trying to do, wherever you're trying to get to, if you learn to be patient, if you learn to hold on, if you learn to just keep pushing and keep believing every single day, patience helps a lot. There's so many things that I've done in my life personally, and I look back and say, how I wish I was patient, how I wish I held back, how I wish I held on, because I know I will have got far better than what I got. Or some of that regrets in which I have to look back and try and fight back, not to hold myself back from, because I just said the reason why I got in that trouble was because I was very impatient. And I must tell you, is one thing I've learned in the last 18 months, or I could say the last 2 years to the pandemic, is patience. My patience has been tested in so many different ways, and I've learned to live. I've learned how to be patient. And even I get surprised at myself sometimes, because when I wait, I realize that I've always achieved bigger than I should have. So remember, patience plays a significant role. Time can feel like an obstacle, because somebody might be thinking, well, Victor, time might not be an obstacle. But you know what? When you know and you're pushing through, it could feel like an obstacle. And that's why I call time an obstacle here. But remember, patience plays a significant role in everything that we do. Being able to wait to the end. When you put a seed in the ground, the bigger the seed, the bigger the harvest, the longer you might have to wait. But remember, nothing happens overnight. And as I begin to wrap up this podcast, hoping that you have taken some value away at this point, I want to go to the final level, which is the how. First, you have to stand out. And that's what I said. I said, you have to stand out. We are in a world in which there's so many people talking. There's so many ideas around. There's so many people doing similar things. But you got to remember that you have to find a way of standing out. But how do you stand out? Be willing to serve. Have that servant heart. When you step out to do things, remember, I am just here to serve diligently. That's all I'm here to do. When I started off, and I speak to some speakers sometimes, they say to me, oh, how much are they paying you? And I always say to them, I say, look, well, I'm just here to serve. And guess what? That service I offered at time, that is what kept me going over time. It got to a time in which I didn't even have to ask for a payment. People would approach me and say, how much are your fees? I didn't have to ask them to pay me because I had served diligently. And it got to a time where the world knew this guy has given value. He needs to be paid. And guys, I'm not saying go and do things and throw things around for free. But remember, it's about having that servant heart, willingness to serve. That always helps you to stand out. Secondly, even though you're doing things for free, remember, you have to deliver value. I'm serving, but I'm serving diligently. I'm delivering value. I'm giving my all. I'm not doing it grudgingly, but I'm serving from the heart. And guess what? If you're not serving from the heart, the world can feel it. So I want to encourage you, make sure your service comes from the heart. And thirdly, I've touched on it a bit, which is make sure you serve with excellence. You're delivering, you're serving, you're giving value, and you're known for doing things properly. You arrive on time. You're looking nice and smart. You got a smile on your face. You got a heart of saying, how can I help? It's not about you. It's about how you can help others. The world will feel it and see it. And I can guarantee you that is enough to drive you forward. That is enough to make you stand out. Next is to step out. When you step out, it is different from standing out. When you're standing in a line and they can see everybody along those lines, everyone is serving diligently. When you step out of the line, you can now be seen clearly. And by stepping out, sometimes it's about making your intentions known. Because there are times in which you're trying to find people to do a certain job, but because your intentions are not known, they do not know that is what you want to do, or that is what you're trying to achieve. So when they're trying to get someone for it, you might be overlooked because they did not know. You have to step out. You have to put in that application saying, okay, fine, I'm applying for this management role. I'm applying for this job. I'm applying for this progress. I'm applying for this speaking opportunity, because you know that once they've seen you, they know, oh, I didn't realize this guy wanted to do this. Now we know. Next time we'll pick on this guy. Or right now, let's get him in there, because your intentions are clearly known. And thirdly, I'll say step up. Step up, which I think is so important. Put yourself forward. Put yourself forward. Is different from just stepping out. This is about stepping up. You're not just standing out, but you're stepping up. You're lifting yourself up. And that comes from the way you think, the way you're pushing yourself out there. You need to step up. Once you step up, I can guarantee you, your name will be known everywhere, and you will be selected out of the multitude and the crowds that you can actually see there. All this takes a lot of work. All this takes a lot of actions, but I want to encourage you when you decide to put yourself out there, because the world is crowded. People have to see that you're actually there. But it's important first to know, where are you trying to get to? What do you want? Then you have to decide who you need to become. And when you decide who you need to become, you have to begin to work on yourself in that direction to get yourself there. Remember, there will be obstacles. Nobody says it's going to be an easy ride. But once you can push yourself through the obstacles, you will have to step out. You will have to step up. You will have to stand out. Remember, you will have to stand out. You will have to step out, and you will have to step up. The world is waiting for you. They are looking forward to the wonderful value that you could bring to it. Don't hold yourself back. The world is crying out for that talent, that thing you're thinking about. As I said, you might be thinking, who cares? It doesn't matter. Yes, it matters. I would love to get some feedback from you. I would love to hear about how much value you've got from this. I would love to hear about how you broke through those barriers. I would love to hear about your steps that you have taken to grow yourself. In fact, I would love to hear about what you want. I would love to hear about who you are becoming. I will encourage you in the comments, either you watch this on YouTube or you listen to all the podcast platforms. I want to encourage you. Share with somebody else who is feeling not just stuck, but feeling overwhelmed in the corner that they have found themselves. I want to encourage you to share this podcast with them, because that could be what they need to hear to transform their lives, to pull themselves out of the pit they are. I will encourage you, don't just keep this to yourself. Tell them about it and share it to others. I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. I want to thank you for watching this podcast. I want to thank you for sharing with others. I want to thank you for joining me again next week, and thanking you in advance, where I continue to be bringing great value to you on the Victor Podcast. Stay blessed, and I love you all.